and that's what we're gonna set you up with. I'm gonna come by. We're gonna make this happen.
Was it a Razor Kraken, one of those, or which one?
Is the MoRav 420 Pro?
It won't fit my case, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's outside the case.
Oh no, absolutely not.
The computer's to the left.
No, absolutely not. Am I having something outside of the case? You know what I have to do to keep my case where it is because it's such an eyesore for the house.
It's just a radiator, dog. It's not that bad. Or we could go really crazy and do one of these.
In the words of our friend Jalen Rose, not gonna be able to do it.
You know that cat's gonna get into it.
Oh yeah, just so much fucking dog and cat hair.
Yep. That cat is going. It's just gonna find it. It's gonna put out so much heat.
Right now, I think I have like the Corsair H100i. I want to say is what I have. Which does fantastic in like real world, like just gaming. Like I said, it never gets above 74. Nothing ever throttles. But I was looking at EK and the Razor, was it the Kraken? Kraken,
yeah. The NZXT
360.
Kraken, yeah. That one's pretty good. I would put that on the same level as Corsair. The EK one I would say is a little bit above that, if only because all they do is water cooling. That's literally everything. That's the stuff I use. I have their custom cooling stuff.
At like whenever I looked for like 10 seconds at what it would take to do like a custom loop, like EK was the parts for like my 3080, like the Founders Edition, like the stuff you could swap out for it and everything.
Yeah.
It was through that EK.
I use all EK stuff.
So before we get into it, are y'all excited for next week, or you're like, we'll go see how it is?
You talking about Solstice?
Yeah.
I'm a lot more excited than I was Wednesday about Solstice. I'll say that. Okay. But deep down, I know it'll probably be something I do enough to get the stuff, and then like it's not gonna bring me back to grinding out 4 hours every night.
Yeah. I do need to do a vow that is all the same class, and I have that titled.
I need a couple vows to do.
I need a bunch. Couple of masters. I think 3 masters.
This week
and
is,
some other stuff.
What the fuck do you need 3 masters for?
I need the challenges, dog. Or no, we did the boss, so I need 2. I need Caretaker and the one after.
It's first encounter this week.
Oh, that's right. Me and Jared did Caretaker without you. I just need the shitty one to do. That's the one I need.
Yeah.
Where everybody rotates items, right?
Yeah. Well, like you can only do 5 laser shots or whatever.
You can do 6. Everybody can only shoot one night.
Oh, you can do 6? I thought you could only do 5. Oh.
There's 7 nights, but you can only shoot 6 of them.
So you ignore the last guy? You just complete it really fast?
I think you only do 1 in the first room. Yep. I think is the play.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because the first room you can clear real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So ignore the second night in the first room.
Technically the second room, I guess, but essentially the first room.
First actual room with ads.
Right. I can't wait to get that tricorn pin back, man, where I lost mine out of my other UK hat. It's somewhere in Las Vegas, so if anybody's there, just be looking on the ground.
Some TSA.
I made it through airport security with him, man, because the guy that checked me, he goes, "Oh, dog, you play?" He's a black guy. He goes, "Oh, dog, you play Destiny?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I play Destiny. You play Destiny?" He goes, "Oh, I used to, but not anymore." And because I was going to get a shit, and because we went, I guess it would have been maybe right before we started the podcast, because we went for our 5-year anniversary. This year will be 7. So yeah, I guess that was a few months before we started the podcast. Because like I don't know, have you guys flown recently or like in the last few years at all?
No.
So like you walk through you have to take your shoes and your belt and all that shit off, and you put it in the bucket, and the bucket goes through the X-ray, and then you have to like stand in the thing. Well, this is at the Cincinnati airport, so you like stand with your legs spread and your hands up, and like something like comes around you and scans you, and then you walk on through.
Radiation.
But yeah, so like my my hat hit, and I had a can of snuff in my pocket I forgot to take out, and that hit. So, hell, I guess it's been like 3 years ago, right? Shit. So, I haven't chewed in like over 2 years now. So I took my stuff out, and then my hat hit from that tricorn pin or whatever, where like metal.
Yeah.
So the guy took it, and he was looking. And he goes, "Oh, that's the Destiny logo. You play Destiny?" And I was like, "Yes." Yeah. It's a nice dislike you got there.
Yep, excited to see it.
I definitely thought that was the Warlock because I just looked at like the helmets first in the picture. And I definitely thought it was like the Phoenix.
I thought the same thing too. It made me sad because it wasn't.
But remember like 6 or 8 weeks ago when all the armor leaked and we were like, man, that chest piece looks cool for the Warlock or for the Titans.
Yeah.
We should have known.
I mean, it still does, but
Okay, so the second picture
we'll
down in there is the white one. And then that's the color ones that you can get from the store.
Yeah. Yeah, the white one is the ones you unlock, like usual.
Yeah. That's how it's been in the past anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're like me, that's just like a easy $15 right off the top on Tuesday.
Did they say, are those behind the event card?
No, they said that some were available for Eververse.
Okay.
And then some are available to earn.
Okay.
But I always feel bad because I'm like, what if I want the white one someday? I really need to earn that. So I go to the EAZ and just do all that shit for hours. And I never use the white one, ever. But if I ever want it, I have it. Which at this point, we just need to... I think it's time. It's time to drop the old consoles.
We can talk about that later. I think lore is going to be a little longer than a little bit longer.
No.
I'm smashing the rest of that lore book, dog. We got some reading to do. Because I got a whole nother lore book, which is going to be 2 more episodes. And then I got the seasonal stuff, which hopefully will have some story going on with it as well. Typically, the Ava stuff does have some kind of lore behind it.
Let me push this link in a couple places, and then
Moods in chat, Mr. Vegas himself.
Mr. Vegas is in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh shit, son! I haven't talked to Mr. Vegas in a minute.
He says he hasn't played in 6 months. What would your advice be for someone looking to get back into it?
My advice would be to
it's always a fun time.
DM NotRyanFox, and we'll fucking set something up. That would be my advice.
Well, I know. I think he has like the Witch Queen expansion, so like we'll just get back into the raid and get some red border frames for him and stuff like that.
Main thing would be run that thing 5 weeks and get him a cataclysm. running the dungeon a few times each week and getting whatever that Storm Chaser is.
Storm, yeah.
Dungeon raid. And then if you really care about Allstringer and Beloved, they're back for seasonal content only. But
which he does whenever he comes back, he does usually hit that PvP half hard at least.
Yeah, having a Allstringer as a crafted 140 hand cannon there's a lot. It's a lot of use going on in it. You see a lot of it.
What is it like? Eye of the Storm range? Is that the roll on it, or is it like snapshot Eye of the Storm? Like what's been the?
I did Air Assault Rangefinder.
Okay. I'm not an airman like you are. So.
It's Eye of Storm then usually, if you're not going to be in the air.
And I'm not like Eye of the Storm is. I don't really like perks where like if I'm about to die, it kicks in. I want something that I can kind of control.
Just passive
or something that's always there. Yeah. So like rangefinder, snapshot, like those are kind of the things that I like. But
Yep. Moon, yeah, since you've been gone, but especially like just play more of the
since you've been gone.
And duality of the dungeon.
Hey.
And then third would be like if you do have the season content, like do the season content storyline stuff. It's pretty cool. Some of the stuff you get to hear.
It's pretty fine. I don't know if I would agree with that part.
I mean, you didn't like all the stuff going on with Callus?
No, man, because it took a whole lot of those containments to get to that. I did a lot of containment, and I still have a lot more to do to get the seal, apparently. I was looking at last night and today.
But if you're talking about just getting through the seasonal story missions, I think you only have to do, 7 of them, Chad? Maybe 8?
Yeah, it would be 7, but it's 52 steps as well.
Yeah.
So, which most of them would be all right to do now since all of the seasonal challenges are out. You could kind of look
you can just
ahead
do
and
it
see
back to back.
if you need to do it like with only void weapons and a void subclass.
Yeah,
or
you can do that mission
whatever.
the first time with whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like I think it's like 5 of them. Where you do like you basically can go through all the missions just using whatever it tells you to do, and you can just get them all done in your one run through.
And that's gonna roll you like 3 seasonal pass levels a mission at least.
Oh yeah.
On those, because those are usually XP pluses, right? Because I still have a few to do. I noticed that when I was looking. Like I still have like 3 weeks of like I have everything on the top row, everything on the bottom row, and one thing on the second row of the seasonal the Crown of Sorrow. So I still have several of those things to acquire. I'm only like a rank 13, or maybe I just hit 14 on that.
Oh, okay.
So I have a lot of containment ahead of me this next 38 days or whatever is left.
Well, if you don't have your red border frames done, and use weapons that you need to level.
I have Allstringer done, and I have Draying at 4 out of 5.
Yeah, but like
what's Draying is?
Use your crafted weapon.
Draying is. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like I have Allstringer. I got my first Beloved like 2 nights ago. From the whole season, and I have cashed in 15 opulent keys. I think whatever it gets me to like the last part of it for the title. So out of all that, I've only got one, not even a red border Beloved, just one Beloved, which I feel like is pretty wild myself. All right, we ready to go live?
Yeah.
Chad, you good?
Yes.
Yeesh. Did you guys see that Lego Office set that came out today? Or that was pre-ordered today? It's like 1,400 pieces or something. I thought about it. Did you pre-order it, Jared? No.
No.
Did anybody look how much it was to pre-order?
It's 120.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was like 79 or 89, that'd probably be like an impulse buy. But 120 is like, I have to think about it for a second, so I'm probably not going to buy it. All right. Clicking the button. Jared, you good on the YouTube?
Yeah.
We are live for episode 69 of the Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is Friday, 7/15/22, and I am the Destiny bad boy, NotRyanFox, here with my fire team, who all of you CCBs know by now. Jared.
Oh yeah, we got some Solstice news going on, and some Iron Banner pains and grinding and all that stuff that went along with it. You know, especially if somebody like myself has been putting it off. We got some of that coming on.
And the chronicler himself, Chadocero.
Going to be finishing a lore book tonight, so that'll be fun. It's a very moving story, so I'm excited to read that all to you.
And make sure if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget that you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast services. Make sure you subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe so we can trick the algorithm. Click on the bell, turn on notifications, yada, yada, yada. Follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send us a bunch of friend requests and join the Discord server so we can all be one big happy family and play games together. Jared's going to get to the TWAB this week, but before we get to that, let's all take a second and listen to the intro music from everybody's favorite Link, who you can find on Twitter at LinkOfTimeG.
All right, everyone, we have a nice TWAB in store for you this week. So Solstice is going to kick off on July the 19th. And it's going to bring a decorated tower. Eva returns. A major revamp to the EAZ. A brand new armor upgrading experience. And it's also bringing along the debut of the event card. And this is something I actually forgot about. I wasn't too concerned about but reading it in the TWAB is something I'll have to think about if I want to invest it or not. And what an event card is that there's going to be a Solstice event card that you can purchase for 1,000 silver. And you do this by interacting with Eva in the tower in the quest tab. And the event card consists of event challenges, event seals and titles, and upgraded event card rewards. So there is still going to be free content and free stuff for you to collect from the card, but there's also the enhanced version that you can purchase as before for 1,000 silver. So completing event challenges earns players the event-related rewards and event tickets. And the event tickets is how you go and purchase it inside the upgraded version. So, say you're not sure if you want to buy the event ticket, the enhanced version or not, and you get playing through, and you're like 2 weeks into the event, you're like, I got a lot of these event tickets, and I think I'll be able to get my money's worth out of the event card. And then you can purchase it, and all the stuff you've earned so far counts towards it, and you'll get those rewards. So we all know how Fox loves spending silver on this game, and when it comes to his warlock, there's no expense that is too much. So how is it looking on your end?
Man, I was looking and I was thinking, so if I need a 1,000 for this, am I gonna need 1,500 for the glows? So should I buy like 3,000 worth of silver, which is like, what is that, $30, I think? So I decided to wait till Tuesday, and whatever I need Tuesday, I'll just buy it all at once in a bunch.
Chad,
yep.
how are you feeling about it?
I'm definitely right there with Ryan. I'm gonna wait till Tuesday to double check, see what's going on. I think I still have 2K and silver on me, like in on my character. But like you said, like I'm gonna have to buy that Titan set, so I need at least 25 if I want to do the seasonal event card thing. But if I want to just do the armor set, then I'm kind of set. But we'll see what stuff's out and what stuff's going on and what kind of ornaments and things are going on. But Ryan and I definitely do not have any qualms about spending money on making ourselves look schmexy. So it again, it just depends on if I go through the brochure of stuff and I'm like, you know what, yeah, I like at least 3 or 4 things, so I'll do it. But you know.
Hey Chad, what's the most you've ever spent on silver on once? Have you ever dropped the 50 piece for the big dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it's a better savings if I know I'm going to spend it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am. Usually at an expansion time, I'll buy like the deluxe edition, and then I'll buy like a 50 piece, and then just because you get so much free silver, whenever you buy, like the more you buy, the more free that you get. But I'm usually good for at least $20, if not $30 a season on top of like my deluxe edition purchase. So just being completely open. I'm being honest. I'm not trying to hide anything. That's kind of what I spend on the game.
Man, there's a lot of people that is making their ears bleed hearing that and just yelling at their monitor screen right now.
Yeah. Hey, and I, but keep in mind, I'm a 34-year-old with a full-time job. My wife has a full-time job. Like, I'm not, I can understand being a 17 or 18-year-old kid and you get like a game on your birthday, a game at Christmas, and maybe a game on Easter if your parents, have that disposable income. I get it. But now that I have the disposable income, and this is like, I play like 3 games a year. I usually play Destiny 95% of the time, and then I'll sprinkle in like a God of War or Horizon or NBA 2K or something, just like whenever times get tough in Destiny. So, and those games I usually buy on Steam Sale or CD keys at like from anywhere from $10 to $25. So I don't have a lot of trouble spending that money, but I understand that some people do. So I'm not going to say my way is right, but that's just, it's the point of life I'm in. I have more money than I have time to play games at this point. Whereas before I had more time and less money to try to play games.
So if you decide to buy the upgraded event card, you have until August 9th, and that's when the solstice ends to get all of the event tickets done and turned in. They show the TWAB to the things that you automatically unlock with the upgraded event card. One of them is hot dog eating champ. It looks like an emote. You're sitting down at a table, just like when you sit down on the emote and like it catches fire, and like the dude's drinking coffee.
It's just the table.
Yeah. So you got a cup there. It's like the dip the water in. So
nice.
Pay homage to Joey Chestnut. And then you have the Sunny Exotic Ghost Shell, which is just a ghost shell with like this big flowery hat on it.
Before we move on,
is Joey Chestnut the greatest American athlete of our lifetime?
No, but he is one of the best. He's one of the best.
He's won like 15 out of 16, and the only one he lost was because his girlfriend broke up with him, or his fiance broke up with him a week before the contest. So I'm just saying, nobody else ever had that kind of run.
I have to say, I did witness him win the brat eating contest in Cincinnati, one year. But
oh, are you serious? Like you saw it in person?
Yeah.
How many brats did he eat? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. I know it wasn't as many hot dogs that he put down.
No, there's not going to be as many as those Hebrew hot dogs that he eats. But I figured it had to be like 40 or 50 anyway, I would say.
For some reason I want to say 37, but I could be wrong.
But dude, that's brats. Yeah. That's brats. Yeah. That's wild. And probably what, 10 or 12 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, it was a short window. Yeah.
Was he eating them the same way, like 2 at a time, this way, and then dipping the buns in the water or the lemonade?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so jealous. You got to witness history, man. Congratulations.
Yeah. Yep.
Before we move on from that,
yeah.
that fun stuff. Did you notice in the picture of the hot dog eating contest emote? There's a weapon propped up against the table there that we don't know about.
That is a huge
I,
shotgun.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Do we know what it is? Do you have any
No.
theories as to what it is? Did Reddit have some sort of post describing what it could be?
No. I saw the shotgun. I'm like,
Mhm.
we know that from the API there's going to be the hand cannon.
Yeah.
But there's nothing about this shotgun. It might just be in the images. Because like it's in, but like I don't know. They usually have a gun in there for a reason.
Yeah.
So. Were there any sort of rumors about that alleged exotic quest coming out of Solstice?
Nothing that I'm aware of.
All right.
I would have
At some point, we're gonna have an exotic quest for a Silver Trace rifle. Just know it's happening. I don't know when it's happening. I'm tired of calling it, but that's what they're saying.
Yep. All right. So every time Solstice runs around, there's going to be some kind of armor for you to upgrade and level up and to unlock some special glows along the way. There's going to be a little bit of revamp to that this time around. And CJ Payne entered to the TWAB to help us walk us through that. So the goals with this is to focus on the activity upgrading armor the entire event through for new player actions, provide agency and choice with how you upgrade your armor, give players a chance to reasonably chase armor rolls for the duration of the event, tie together occurring and upgrading armor with the theme of Solstice, and lower the barrier of entry for players who haven't engaged with armor stats. So we have new currencies to go through here. Which I know everybody's excited for that. So the first one is Silver Leaves.
Can't wait.
Yeah, you earn those by completing activities throughout the game. So hopefully, no matter what the activity is, raids or playlists or dungeons, you get some of this. So let's hope for the best there. Silver Ash. Transform Silver Leaves into Silver Ash by completing the new activity Bonfire Bash, and then spend Silver Ash to re-roll armor stats from the armor on the mod screen. So looking at this helmet here, it has 6 mod slots that they have in this TWAB. And one of them is called Small Kindling. And so you earn Kindling by completing Solstice event challenges. Spend Kindling to upgrade your armor stat roll potential. Each piece of armor can be upgraded 3 times, so that's 3 tiers, and you only need to do this once per armor slot. Every time you upgrade a piece of Solstice armor, it is permanently shared across all pieces for that slot. So if you upgrade the helmet to tier 3, every Solstice helmet currently in your inventory and any future helmets will be tier 3. All right, so basically you're going to do event challenges, earn Kindling, and you're going to get these armor stat potentials. You're going to keep leveling them up by doing activities in the game, then going to the bonfire to change out that currency for the enhanced currency to invest in armor slots to upgrade them. Kind of loop we've been around once or twice before, the way that they do the seasonal content, where you get like this basic stuff, go to the seasonal content area, do a completion, turn the basic stuff in for the enhanced version to like do umbulls, but this time you upgrade in armor.
So is the play, I assume it's once per armor slot per character.
Yeah.
It doesn't really say that, but
yeah,
that's probably safe to assume, right? They're not going to give us all 3 slots with one. So my question to you guys, are you going to do your main character that you probably already have a really good armor on? Or are you going to do like your third character that you spend the least time on in order to make that armor better?
This, for me, it's going to come down to how fun the bonfire bash is.
Since I'm a checklist boy, all of them.
I don't think I have all of them in me at this moment. Like my state with this game, I think I'm probably just gonna focus Warlock. I could really use some because resilience hasn't mattered for the last 2.5 years. I haven't kept a lot of resilience pieces, so I'll probably focus resilience and like resilience, recovery, discipline are kind of probably gonna be the 3 things I focus on my
must
Warlock.
not have been listening to Jared and I with 70 resilience the past, I don't know,
No.
5 seasons.
I could always get to 70 resilience, but it always took like 3 or 4 resilience mods, as opposed to having that armor baked in or having those stats baked into the armor. So just in order to increase my ability to be more flexible with my Warlock, that's probably the route I'm going to go, is just keep that resilience thing and try to focus in that and then get high rolls in the second slot. So recovery number 1 and then like discipline number 2 or recovery number 2. It's kind of my thought process of how to approach this.
Yeah, I'm right there with you when it comes to Warlock and Titan. Resilience, recovery, and then with Titan, I do like the like not have it too much on discipline or strength. I like to have a little bit of both because you like looping some stuff on there. But with Hunter, I'm trying to do more mobility and resilience together at the moment. But I've kind of been doing that for what 8 weeks now. Been focusing on armor to get mobility and strength and resilience. So this kind of came too late for me to really care about focusing those armor stats. I've already been kind of doing that. So, and another thing, like if this doesn't have the Artifice armor slot, I don't know what that last slot is that they're showing, but if it doesn't have that, then like I still care about Artifice armor over top of grinding this stuff out.
Yeah.
I mostly agree with that. However, if I have just the Artifice armor, theoretically, the most important pieces to have that on would be like chest piece and class item. Because chest piece, you could throw on like whatever. So far, we've had like Void and Arc resistance on the seasonal artifact, and then if you had like a solar chest piece, you could have all 3 on those available. However, I would be looking like solar would be great, class item would be great because most of the class item stuff doesn't cost too much, and you can get like 2 of the seasonals on it. So but like the helmet and arms and legs, I would kind of be focused more towards that, and then try to get my Artifice armor on the chest and the class item.
All right. So again, so get your armor up to tier 3. That's how you unlock the white glow, and then the glows that go along with your subclass. That's usually locked behind the Eververse store. So be prepared for 1,000 to 1,500 silver for that. There is a note about the stasis glow. As of right now, that the launch of it, stasis glow is glitched, and it actually will show void purple instead of the stasis blue.
Listen, I have to say that's kind of frustrating at this point. I can understand if it was last year and it was like stasis was newish, but stasis has been out for what 18 months at this, or hell, 24 months at this point or something. So that should be working in my opinion.
I imagine they get it fixed before Solstice is over. I do have confidence in them doing that, and they sort of telling people up front, and they're not like buying it day one, and Twitter's blowing up. It's like, oh, look at this, Bungie can't even get the shaders right again. So, I mean, with some of this armor, I mean, it looks good. Silver Ash says it's going to cost 60 to guarantee a armor slot of being 20 in the corresponding stat slot. So. That, and if you're able to pair a ghost mod with that would basically go 10 in a second slot. So if that works out to where I can guarantee I can get stat armor between like 20 mobility and 10 resilience no matter what for a hunter. I mean, We'll see. We'll see how fun it is.
Dude, it has to be a lot better than containment and trying to get that umbral energy, whatever this season's is called. Because that's a nightmare, man. Chad told me a few weeks ago that I could get 27 for just doing 3 tiers. That's a lie. I didn't get 27 at all for doing that. I had to run like 2 of those full in order to get enough to be able to focus a weapon at 27. What is it, Risen Umbral Energy or something?
That's what I said. I said you get 9 for a full completion.
Oh, I misunderstood you then. Because I was like, man, this is whack. I'm not getting 27. I have to do this 3 times in order to get that. I mean, that's too much. Like,
yeah, they're a little stingy with it. There's no doubt. And that's the only time to earn it is they are opening up a opulence chest.
Yeah, because I mean, I played 20-ish Iron Banner games in the last 2 nights, and I got like 1. Like literally just not like one time it dropped for 10. I mean, I got like 1 energy, 1 time out of all those games. That's stupid.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, I think we're all in agreement there. All right, so that's pretty much it for Solstice Talk. It has been mentioned we are getting a weapon. It's been data mined, so it's a hand cannon of some sort. There's a buff coming to 180, so right now my money would be on it being a 180 RPM hand cannon at this point.
It looks like the what's the first time payload one from Future War Cult?
True Prophecy.
That's the gun.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
So you think it's gonna be a 120?
Well, yeah, whatever True Prophecy was, because it's the same exact gun model.
If it's a 120, it's about time for us to get another flavor of it. I think the only 120 you can go and get right now is bottom dollar from Gambit.
Yay.
So, yeah. All right. Bungie Foundation update. To date so far, they've raised $811,000, and with the goal being 1 million. So we've just got a couple more days left. There's a lot of different emblems. They did add this new emblem bundle from last week. If you donate 100 plus, you get 5 heart emblems. And it's kind of like basically with the heart emblems they've been putting out for like the last 5 years. I would say, is that right, Fox?
Yeah, I think I have 2 of the 5, maybe 3 of the 5 on there. So I think they look good. I think I bought all mine on the secondary market. Unfortunately, I didn't buy them like the time they were coming, but I was like, man, those look good. The first one I bought was the one that has like the 3 hearts kind of coming at the screen, and then I bought the one that had just the giant heart with the blue background, and because I thought it looked pretty good. But I think I might have actually got it off a Bungie. I think it was like a $50 donation at maybe 2 years ago. You got one, and then I think there was one for like COVID or New Zealand that had a heart that it looked like they were giving away with this one as well. And the other 2 I don't have. So honestly, I'm probably not gonna donate for those. Not because I don't like the cause. I have a few of them. I did buy the tricorn pin because, like I said, my last one I lost in Vegas, I believe. So I bought one for this hat. It'll be right here. And then I gave the code away to one of these 2 guys. I just posted it, and one of them took it. So that's probably my favorite. It's just like the Destiny logo. So that's probably just my favorite one out of all of them, truth be told.
The next thing up is a loyal companion. So that's when you kneel down and you pet the dog emote. To date, there's been over 165,000 Guardians to purchase this in the store. So that goes to the Make-A-Wish Kid Foundation. So that's awesome. And
did you guys watch that on the Bungie's YouTube clip, like the 8-minute video they did of like them going and interviewing him, and like their puff piece that they did with this kid?
Oh no, I haven't.
Did you guys happen to see that? It came out like last week or right after we recorded, like the next day. Super good. Highly recommend it. It made me almost buy it, but I know I got that Solstice armor coming, so that's the only reason I didn't.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
But I know I got that solstice armor coming, so that's the only reason I didn't. But I know I got that solstice armor coming, so that's the only reason I didn't.
It's been my favorite emote. I put it on all three of my characters. If you really like the emote, you can get the little plushy dog in the Bungie store if that's what you're about. It looks pretty close. Got a little bandana on the dog. It's quite cute. So if you're about that, there it is.
More of a cat guy myself. So go cats.
So normally we skip over movie of the week. Don't say much about it. But however, one of them is about The Office, and it's like as if The Office happened.
That's right.
In the town, and man, it was awesome. And I'm kicking myself. I was like, how the heck did we not think of to do this? You know, this is something we could have easily done. But my gosh, I think it was awesome. I loved it.
I think like our first 30 episodes, we snuck an Office reference into each one of them. Yeah. Yep. So if you ever go back and re-listen, just listen, check out, see if you can catch the ones that we tried to slide in there. But I'm with Jared. I absolutely watched that as soon as I saw it come up yesterday.
All right, that does it for the TWAB. So social starts next week, and this looks like it's going to run for look at 4 weeks. So get in there, get the grinding, and potentially a wonderful hand cannon to go chase along with the armor. Next brings up 3 likes and dislikes that we've had going on in game this week. There's a few different things that's going on. There's Grandmasters going on, Iron Banner going on. And, I've even completed some bounties. I'm looking at them, I'm like, I really don't need to turn those in. I should probably just save them. So, I'm going to say my like for this week. With Iron Banner going on, you got to get so many of those challenges done to get the title done. And it requires you playing some other characters besides your main. So, when got the Hunter done, moved over to Warlock, and Ophidian Aspects feels so good in so many ways. You can just go fast with Icarus Dash, and you can swap your weapons out. You get extra AE while you're in the air, so your guns are more accurate. It's wonderful, and I really, really enjoy those. And I know if you're on Twitter, you've definitely seen some PvP content creators having very lots of discussions about the meta going on in Trials and exotics that each class picks, but there's a reason those feel so good, and I really, really enjoy it.
Okay. Let's see here. So, Ophidians, I'm excited. I'll give those a shot again. But my like for the week is that there's going to be something to do for a little bit next week in the Destinyverse. I did the Iron Lord title week 1 of Iron Banner to knock that out, so I didn't have to do it ever again. And we did our GMs last week. The only thing I really need to do, like I said last week, is the solo flawless on the dungeon. I still need to do that because I've been busy playing another game. So I've been taking this as like a little bit of downtime to cool off. So it's gonna be nice to be able to hop in and have something to grind out again. I'm taking this like break so that I can go in and not already feel burned out at the first day of the event. That way I can, kind of coast through it. But like Jared said too, I'm gonna be immediately stacking bounties as soon as I log in the next time. I'm just gonna grab a bunch and start stacking, and getting prepped for that, so I don't have to do it the end of the season. But yeah, I'm glad that that Solstice is back and that they're changing it a little bit, and that there's just gonna be something to do again in Destiny that isn't story based. Is just something new ish.
I also started looking at the when I was playing Iron Banner, and I was like, I don't need to go any further this season. I have all the artifact mods unlocked. I've already done all the Grandmasters, so I'm definitely high enough for those. So I saw I had like 39 days, and I started counting like if I need to get 81 bounties on all 3 characters, I need to start doing like 3 or 4 a day in order to get at that. Started doing math, which made my head hurt. So I just decided that my like is Zur dropping that sweet 70 roll of the Crown of Tempest exotic headpiece that comes in. Zura's in the tower. It's 70. It's highest in resilience. Next season, we know Arc is coming in. Grab that. Whatever you have to do to get the 27 legendary shards it takes to get that. Or is it 21 or 23? Whatever it is, whatever it takes, make sure you buy that. Throw it in the vault. Even if you don't use it now, we don't know what Arc 3.0 is going to look like. So make sure you get that. My dislike is I don't have a lot to do this season outside of stacking my bounties and doing whatever Solstice requires. I got my Iron Banner done. I'm not patient enough to do the solo dungeon, which is the only thing I have left on that. I think on that title, I think I need 2 Lubrae's Ruin in order to get all of the Vow weapons done. Maybe only 1. And then I just have the master mode of the one where you have to pass all the buffs around, like the 3rd encounter of that one. I just need to do the challenge mode on master for it, and I have everything done for it. So that's kind of my checklist for this season. I wish there was more to do, but that's kind of all I have left.
Yeah, that helmet, that 70 stat wall, after we did all them Grandmasters last week, I went ahead and master worked it. That way I wouldn't accidentally delete it, just in case, they give it some kind of arc buff, works into the to the aspects.
Perfect timing to get that.
Yeah.
So my dislike here is that I'm going to have a duck on my head for like 4 weeks, just wings and a duck. The other guys get a schmancy mohawk. I get a duck.
Are you talking about the
solstice armor?
Did I ever tell you about the time? Did I ever tell you guys about the time I was chased by like 4 ducks and I didn't know what to do? No. All right. So I'm a home health nurse. I went to see this patient. Like, they actually lived in like a state, like the forest of like a state park, Shawnee State Forest, and they lived like. It took me like I didn't have service for like 15 minutes off the road getting to like their trailer. So I get to the trailer, they have like a porch that's built up to the trailer to get on, and I go and I'm walking towards to knock on the door. This patient didn't answer the phone, so they didn't even know I was coming. And all of a sudden, like 4 ducks come out from underneath of this porch and they're running at me. And I started thinking, like, what are these ducks going to do? Do ducks have teeth? Like, I didn't know. Are they going to bite me? Are they going to flog me? Like, if they're going to flog me, I'll just kick them like they're a chicken or something, because chickens, you worry about spurs. I didn't think ducks had spurs, but I didn't know if ducks had teeth. So I took off running back and I got inside my car and waited for them to go away. And then I left. The patient didn't come to the door or anything. So, but I didn't know. Do ducks have teeth? What do you guys know about ducks?
I'm pretty sure they don't have teeth, and that's more like almost like sandpaper around the edges, like almost like catfish teeth. If you catch a catfish, you just grab it in its mouth. It's just, But to me, that they must have had a nest or something underneath that porch to make them like go after you in that way. That's the only thing that came to mind.
I don't know. These are like big ducks, not like little chicken ducks. I'm talking like ducks that came up like if they stood like from the ground to the top of their head would have been at like my waist area. Just big ass ducks.
Are you talking about Canadian geese?
I don't know. I mean, I want to call them ducks.
Geese are the angry ones.
Yeah.
Geese are the ducks are nice.
I don't really know the difference. Like,
you're asking if they have teeth.
You want to call them geese? I don't know. I just know they were chasing me, and my big ass was running back to the car because I didn't want to be bit.
I'd rather bet these are Canadian geese, and if they had a nest or they had new hatchlings, there's no doubt that they are that aggressive to go after somebody like you.
They're aggressive just in general, man.
Yeah.
You look at them wrong, they'll run after you.
Okay. All right. No, Fox. Chad, you don't have to rare it. You know that, right? You don't have to. It's gonna be okay.
I'm gonna have to, man.
All right.
I have to. It's my duck head.
All right. My dislike is that crafted weapons need to level up faster when you have them equipped and finishing activities. So I got the bump in the night rocket launcher done, and I crafted one. So it's like I'll just throw it on as my heavy slot while I'm playing through Iron Banner. And like I played through all my Hunter games and like majority of my Titan games, and it was only level 3 after like it's probably close to 20 plus games. I was like, that seems way too slow to play that many games and it only be that level. So, maybe like 25% for finishing a PvP activity game that's Iron Banner. Like I think that should be reasonable, right? So I think I'd just like to see a little buff comes to that when finishing activities with the crafted weapons.
Yeah, Gambit and PvP, those seem to take longer than strikes, in my opinion. A strike, some of those you can run through depending upon which strike it is. You can get through pretty quick. But Gambit and PvP have to, on average, be longer than strikes. So those should take maybe 3 games if you get 0 kills with it, but like 2.5 games if you get some kills with that weapon. In my opinion, that should be all it should take to take it in between levels, or to take it from a 0% on a red border to 100%.
Mm-hmm. And you think about PvP and Gambit, like it's more dependent on people playing those activities than strikes. People really wish that there was a solo playlist in strikes just to go through the strike solo. I could do away with every other solo playlist and just give me strike solo, because but that's just me. That's just my play type.
You love strikes that much?
Yeah, I play a lot of strikes.
Yeah. I don't,
especially when it's heavyweight.
Strikes are terrible. I hate playing strikes. The only time I'll play strikes is if we're doing GMs, or if it's double rewards or something like that, and I'm running like nightfalls just to try to make them slightly more difficult than normal. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, I like strikes are the lamest activity to me out of all of the 3 playlist activities.
I totally understand that, especially we've been doing it for 7+ years, almost 8 years now. So
yeah.
All right. Weapons breakdown. Mine's not even being segment here, but I just, Fox already touched about it, about how much Beloved and Ostringer you see going on in Iron Banner. You see a lot of it. Just be prepared for that. I got shot by Beloved one too many times. I was like, I'm pulling out my quick draw snapshot, and I'm doing it too. So that's what came down to it. So.
Man.
I just have to say,
Austringer Drain.
Yeah,
just to mix it up.
My Beloved though, I the quick draw snapshot, and then I put everything else that have at least a little bit of stability. So like I put polygonal on my barrel, I put ricochet rounds, and then stability for my masterwork, and it's up to 81 stability, so that's 8%, or maybe a little bit less of flinch reduction. So I felt good to do that.
Yeah, and I reported everybody that hit me with a headshot using a Beloved. that seemed like it should have been a headshot. Like if I was flying, if I was like Titan skating through a doorway off the ground and somebody hit me in the head, I reported every single one of them. So if that's you, I'm not sorry. Not sorry in the slightest. And I know you're cheating, and I hope that Bungie bans your account.
All right, Fox, what have we got going on for Gambling Corner this week?
So Gambling Corner, we're gonna roll it over simply because I was on call every single night this past week, and I've been sober for 7 days until today because I was on call. So we weren't able to kind of team up. So we are still running the Grandmaster that's currently out, so we can try to get some Adept DFAs. and we gambled on who was going. It was 3K ante, and we bet on who was going to die first. We weren't able to bet on ourselves, and so we're just gonna roll that over until next week. I'm sorry that we didn't do better, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, we just straight up got busy with life. But however, we do have tips for you for this week in Insight Terminus. We've done this is what around for like the 4th or 5th season of Grandmasters. It seems like I know it's in season 1.
I was thinking like third or fourth.
Okay,
but yeah, roughly the same.
So it's anti-barrier and unstoppable champions. So 5 of the 6 Grandmasters are anti-barrier. So just make sure you have that Arbalest leveled up to 1570 because it's going to see a lot of use.
And you get that Arbalest ornament in the Eververse store for Bright Dust this week, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, that's right.
So basically, you might as well pair it up with the linear fusion rifle in your heavy, and it's void burn.
Yep.
So
get those void scouts out, boys.
Yeah. So just void everything, and then you have Arbalest. So I think whenever we ran it, we had the Freezy Boy of Fox is being thrown out the My Sturts. Wonderful.
Yep.
Invis Hunter, and then we had Chad going the Ursa Titan just as a, oh no, we screwed up something, and he's going to take damage for a while and get us reset. Overall, I mean, that boss room, when it puts down his this Void Blast onto the ground, you're going to die in a couple frames, no matter what resilience void resist that you have going on there.
Yep.
So make sure you avoid that at all costs and freeze the waves if you can when you go to stand on the plates, because the ads do spawn at a rate that will come to the plate before you can finish capping it. It will lock out for you finishing the plate. So that's why Fox came in so much handy there. I watched a lot of people do this solo, and they would actually use the Behemoth Titan to freeze everything on the field to keep them from coming to the plates. So stasis,
that's interesting.
Yeah, stasis is your friend. Like, have one of stasis. Even like Stasis Hunter can do some good, but Warlock is no doubt the best when it comes to stasis.
Yeah, especially with the exotic arms. You can throw them with those to where you can have 2 turrets rolling 95% of the time if you're running 100 discipline. That came in so handy for us, it was almost laughable. Just know that you get that the very first time you get like the center point in order to capture to unlock the boss to be able to take damage. And then you get like all 3 on the second one whenever he becomes immune. So you just want to rotate as a team. Don't try to split up. That's just kind of ignorant. But one Warlock with, you can easily keep everything pretty well at bay. I think we did this one on the Tuesday night that we started the GMs, and we had 1 death. That was a geometry death. It wasn't even a real death. So this is a pretty easy one. It's definitely one of the easier 3 of the 6. If we want to take the time to rank those, I'm sure that we could. I'd say Arms Dealer is probably the easiest, and then this
Spire.
one, Inverted Spire's second easiest. Yep. This one's probably the 3rd easiest, or the 4th most difficult, depending upon how you're looking. Mm-hmm. So it's just make sure you have 1 Warlock. The only other like trouble room would be the room where you get to that big capture point whenever the first time you kind of run into the same room as the big Scion. And you have a couple champions that come in through that warp or come in through that the gate whenever you're all 3 in that room and you're trying to capture that point. But keeping freezy Warlocks and just throwing those freeze grenades the second they're available, you can make all that pretty trivial up until the boss room, in my opinion.
All right. And Chad, the Ursa boy, any little tips that we left out?
Ursa is your friend.
Yeah.
It helps you whenever somebody accidentally jumps on your head and kills himself. It helps you pick them up. Kills themselves, Ryan, not me. And it's good for that accidental. I gotta pick up the team by I don't know why I'm the last one alive, but I gotta pick them up. It's a really, really safe way to pick people up and give them cover to run away. It isn't the most exciting, but it is a really, really safe bet. But like they said, it's one of the easier strikes. It's definitely a really good one to practice on over and over again to get strats going, to get team cohesion going. And because it's an easier one, you don't have to run Ursa Titan. You can run Behemoth. You can run other stuff. You're only really going to be using void weapons because of the buff to the damage on them. Since Titan Void isn't a damage dealer, because you're using it for Ursas, you're not really dealing with the super buff on it anyway. So you can just use whatever you want. If you want to be safe and run Solar Titan for the invincibility, you do you. But it's definitely a nice one to split into multiple rooms. Rooms have fairly good safe zones, and you can take it very slow until the boss room. The boss room is gonna be where you're gonna have most of your headaches until you come up with a solid everybody move as a unit. We're only gonna activate these one at a time in bits and pieces. But that's it.
And the only other thing I would add would be make sure that you're just capping those zones in that final area. Cap them as a group. Do not try to divide and conquer. So just have all three there. And if you are a warlock, you really want to run stasis. You want to be high discipline, high resilience, high recovery. Those are the main things. You want that discipline over 100. You want that discipline at or near 100 in that recovery. The closest you can get it to 100, the more that you have your rift up and available in order to just throw it down for a healing rift to help your boys out. So that's just the most easy. That's just kind of the most easy thing. You might have a little bit of trouble in the big long room where all of the Cabal drop pods come in and have the champions, but just kind of stay towards the entrance of that room and don't crouch underneath a rock, because if you die, you cannot be rezzed. And we know that firsthand based upon previous experience. So kind of stay out from underneath those rocks, but you can do most of that room from that entrance area.
All right, there you have it. There's that's inside Terminus for you. And next week, hold on, I'll pull up the graphic I have here. And next week is Warden of Nothing, and it's going to be duty bound. So if you're going to pick a week to skip, next week, because we already had duty bound around. So it's it's okay, all rifle.
Is that the one that could get 4th times and triple tap? So you just have stupid amounts of ammo with it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right, next up is how is Iron Banner going? So we've this probably will be brief, but I'm the only one that is not an Iron Lord yet. That's because I have neglected Iron Banner, except for today. This is the first day I've actually gave any attempt into getting it done. I did get a reset in today, so I need to do another reset in order to get the title done. Will I do it? It's probably a 50-50 right now. Weapons wise, I'm not really getting any weapon drops that I'm really looking out for, because I think those weapons are kind of lackluster coming out of there. Besides Hero's Burden, which is a Void SMG, and we have 5 other ones to choose from. I'm not really excited about the weapons.
I guess weapon wise, it depends. What is it? I hope I don't butcher this, but the Reese Walker shotgun.
Yeah.
That you can get with the stupid amount of range on it. That would be one to kind of look out for. But as far as is it Frontier's Cry. That's like the pulse rifle or maybe the hand cannon. Like the pulse rifle and the hand cannon, you don't really need to worry about the rules on it. But I would be looking for the SMG. I'd also be looking for the SMG is the main one, because like Razor's Edge is the sword, you don't really need it. But that SMG is nice. But if you already have like a Shira's Wrath or the Title, or what's the one that came from the Witch Queen season, the Beist SMG, Funnel Web.
Yeah.
You don't really need to so much worry about that Hero's Burden, but that's probably the second best weapon. But outside of that, man, there's really not much to chase, because I have like 30 rank up engrams sitting with our boy there. And I'm trying to think of like, what do I want to focus these on? Do I really want to spend 3,000 legendary shards focusing all these things? Are they going to go away at the end of the season? This is the last time we're theoretically going to see them at the end of this season. So like kind of what to do with those is kind of something I've been struggling with the last 2 evenings.
Yeah,
I'm still looking for my Riptide.
Yeah.
That's it.
What the auto loading chill clip?
A PvP and a PvE roll.
Okay.
Like.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm getting like 2 Riptides. I'm getting 3 Riptides every 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that sounds ridiculous, but I swear, man, I'm getting those things to drop 1 a game, if not 2 a game. It is wild how often those are dropping. And I like Jared said, I get a lot of armor, but the armor is like 63 or 64, and it's fair rolled armor, but because I've been collecting armor on these characters for the last several years, it's nothing that I'm like, oh my god, look at this roll I got. So I'm not too much worried about it. But some of you that aren't that haven't played as much as I have, I'm sure this armor is incredible for you guys, because it's just high stat roll armor every time it drops. Pretty well that I see.
Yeah, we're at the point where when Lightfall comes, we need a total armor. And maybe this stuff what's going on in Solstice is a foreshadowing to that, but we can all hope for the best.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like they're thinking about what they can do, but they haven't settled on anything. So maybe this is like a trial to see what's going on.
All right, coming to the batter's box here is Chad with the lore segment, and we're finishing up a lore book this time.
Yep. We're finishing up the book Triage. I'm gonna get right into it because we got a lot to read here. This next chapter, Aesthesia. Sophia's sister greets her at the gates of her village with an incredulous stare. Amani, Sophia says stiffly. There's a moment of silence before the sisters embrace. She is welcomed. Then Amani looks at Zavala and Hakim. She simply raises an eyebrow. Days pass. I don't think she likes me, Zavala speaks softly over Hakim sleeping in the makeshift cradle in Amani's home. She definitely doesn't like me, Tarj says, emerging. Why do you say that? She said, I don't like you. To both of us. Sophia frowns. She likes Hakim, she offers. That will be enough. Her sister's village is small but well fortified, a wall of wooden stakes around their homes. They scrape together vegetables and bitter rye from the earth, keep livestock in the barn. Sophia and Zavala build their home there. Years pass. Hakim grows. Zavala holds his hands as the boy toddles on young, unsteady feet. Clack, clack. Sophia knits in her favorite chair, something once precious she had left behind. Through her window, she sees Zavala and their son spar with wooden swords on the field behind their home. It is play. Their son is 9. Sophia can hear the clack of wood on wood in the autumn air. Her eyes drop to her yarn. Clack, clack. Their son is 12. She sees Zavala correct Hakim's stance, raise his arms, straighten his back. The boy once comes up to his father's elbows. Tarj circles around them. The yarn shifts around her fingers and she passes it from needle to needle. Clack, clack. Their son is 15. The sleeve of the sweater she works on lengthens. It is summer, but she knits for the colder months ahead. Her sister sits beside her, cleaning a rifle, counting bullets. We're overdue for a raid, Amani says, as if she were remarking on a low crop yield, bad weather, or a stillborn calf. Just another hardship. Inevitable. Bullets clink together in her lap. Sophia spreads the woolen sweater over her knees. For Hakim? Amani asks. Sophia nods. He outgrows them every 2 months. He needs new trousers, too. I can see his ankles. The final clack of the swords clatters out and she looks up. Sophia sees the flash of a metal blade in Hakim's hand. She throws down her knitting and runs to them, the knife at Zavala's throat when she reaches them. What are you doing? It is not a question, it's an admonition. Zavala steps back and gestures to the knife in Hakim's hands. I'm teaching him how to defend himself. Sophia reaches for her son, holds Hakim to her chest. She kisses the crown of his head, whispers softly into the curls of his hair. I can do it, he says. It's just a lesson. Sophia looks to Zavala, shaking her head in disbelief. He needs to be prepared to take a life, he speaks gently, as if he had not just asked his son to slit his throat. He is a child, she says. Hakim takes a breath, frowns, begins to speak, and Zavala touches his shoulder. Do you think that matters to the fallen? His voice got dark. Sophia takes the knife from her son's hands, holds it by the flat of the blade edge, an edge for harming, not healing. She knows Zavala is right, and hates it. That night, Sophia's sister stays up with her, talking by candlelight. It's been years, Amani talks. He'll never see the way we do. They can't. I don't believe that. I know you don't. Amani laughs, but Sophia is silent, frowning. He must understand. Her sister sighs. He loves you. Sophia nods. He loves Hakim. She nods again. Then maybe that is enough. When she returns home, Sophia finds Zavala watching over Hakim as he sleeps. Zavala rises, pulls a blanket a little higher over his shoulders, then brushes his fingers over his son's cheek. Sophia realizes that in all the Risen's long, unenviable years, they were never once children. She reaches for Zavala and he takes her into his arms, a silent question of forgiveness. Let him be a child for a little longer, she whispers into his ear. You will miss these days when they have gone. Next chapter, Algia. Sophia hears the trade of gunfire, tap, 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 like birds pecking, but too quick, too sharp. Zavala stands abruptly. The fallen! A shout of terror from outside, the house of devils. Zavala is through the door before Sophia can speak. She gathers her kit. The gunfire grows louder and quicker. There are cries of pain, death throes. Hakim is 17. Stay here, she pleads. Stay safe. I can fight, he tells her. He is taller than she is now. Please, she says. Reluctantly, Hakim nods. Sophia puts her arms around him, holds him for a moment, tries to quell her fear, and then follows her husband into the fight. Fallen clamber over the village's gates, disorganized and led by a captain too vicious and too eager to be where the fighting is thickest. The friends and neighbors Zavala's trained raise their weapons and hold their ground as they are swarmed. Sophia sees her husband leading the defense, shouting commands over gunfire, and screams. A farmhand with a gun falls when a bullet pierces his thigh. Sophia is there to drag him from danger, tourniquet and dressings in hand. She keeps low time and again reaching the wounded as the fallen are pushing back. She hears a voice, instantly familiar, now threaded with terror, piercing through the fray. Sophia turns and sees Hakim deflect a swipe of the arc spear from the fallen captain. The blow unsteadies him. Sophia screams his name. Hakim steps back, eyes wide. The captain draws the spear and jams the weapon into her son's body. Zavala is suddenly there, knocks the creature down with 2 shots, finishes it with another. Sophia runs to Hakim and skids to her knees beside him. Slick redness coats the back of her hands as she presses hard on the wound, edges singed by arc energy. Blood wells from Hakim's mouth as he tries to speak. His grip loosens on his weapon, a sickle, a tool cut down stalks of rye, and his eyes go slack. The scent of her son's death settles into the pith of her lungs. She does not hear Zavala's footsteps. She does not hear anything. Her bloodied palm is at her son's cheek, wiping away the cold tears that had stayed behind on his unfocused eyes. Her breath falters. Slowly she draws her other hand from Hakim's wound and puts her arms around him. She feels her son's body against her chest, the weight in her arms. She remembers briefly when he had fully grown so heavy that she could no longer cradle him as she once had. Safi, she hears at last. She turns to Zavala. He stands as a silhouette against the rising sun, the nude dancing cracks in his armor shimmering in the light. He comes toward her, his face horror. She wonders if he died as well. She turns to look to Hakim again. There is no ghost for her son. Zavala kneels beside her, shaking. He takes Hakim's body into his arms, and they bring him home. Zavala lays Hakim down on his bed, supporting him so that his head comes to rest softly on the pillow. Sophia pulls his blanket up, trembling, stopping short of drawing it over his face. When she reaches over for her husband, hand beside her, she realizes she is stained to her elbows with her son's dark, blackened blood, the blood of a deep interior wound. Zavala reaches for the edges of his son's blanket, adjusting it over Hakim's shoulder, careful as if he were afraid to wake him. What will you do now? Amani has a way of cutting to the heart of things. Hakim has been buried for months. Flowers on his headstone, the sisters sit, overlooking the graveyard. The night air is thick with summer warmth. All is silvered in the moonlight. The cicadas sing. The world does not stop and witness her grief. Sophia shakes her head, silent. Her sister puts an arm around her shoulders. You will have to decide. The silence grows heavy. She feels Amani draw her into an embrace. He was a good boy, stubborn and brave like her father. They part, and Amani clasps Sophia's hands in hers. Her sister gives a sad smile. Sophia does not return it. Her grief is solitary, inward. She cries when she is alone. Zavala is at Hakim's grave most nights, Sophia says at last, but not tonight. Sleep, her sister says. Sleep and think about your future, here or elsewhere. You want me to leave? Sophia asks. Amani shakes her head, squeezes her sister's hands. No, never. But I want you to find your joy again. I don't believe you'll find it here. Bring him back. Sophia hears Zavala's voice when she returns home. She follows the sound to their bedroom. Bring him back, he demands again. There's a tremor in Zavala's voice. Sophia peers through the slip of space offered by the unlatched door. Her husband faces away from her, speaking to his ghost. I can't, Tarj says. Tarj stares up at Zavala. She can see the ghost shivering. Take my light and bring him back. He struggles at every word. You know I can't. Would you? Zavala asks, something clawing into his voice. Would you bring him back? If you could. If Tarj speaks, Sophia doesn't hear it, but she hears the scrape of Zavala's gun on the nightstand. Find a way. Bring him back, Zavala pleads. Sophia doesn't hesitate when she sees Zavala raise the weapon. She swings open the door. Her husband flinches, turns, sees her standing at the threshold. Careful, she walks to him, puts a hand on his arm, lowers his gun. Zavala falls to his knees, the gun clattering to the floor. Sophia reaches for Tarj. He floats to her. She holds him in her hands. There is a thrum, a warmth in her palms. The ghost's singular eye, blue, looks up to her. She remembers all the times he hovered just out of Hakim's reach, teasing him, playing with him. In that moment, she knows that Tarj loved him too. We cannot change what happened, she whispers to her husband. This will not change who we are. She thinks he will turn to ask her, and asks, Who am I? But he doesn't. Tarj leaves her embrace to hover beside Zavala. I can't stay here, she says. He says nothing. He knows himself, and he knows who she is too. She is certain. Sophia searches his face. She sees Hakim when she looks at him. She sees her own pain reflected in his eyes, and she sees his pain as well, just as endless as the years he will suffer beyond her own. Sophia looks away. I can't understand eternity, she says sadly. I don't know if you can either, but you will live it. I will not. Zavala takes a hard breath, and sob drags itself from his body. She looks at him again. Don't forget us, Zavala. Her voice breaks. For all your years. Please. Never. The village is behind them, faded into the colors of a late summer sky. When they departed, Amani had held fast to Sophia's hands until she promised to come home again, in time. To Zavala, Amani gave only a nod and a sad smile. Soon the stone structures of the Iron Lord's encampment rise on the horizon. Zavala and Sophia pass where they first found Akeem. The bodies are gone, the blood long soaked into the earth. The burned trees have new growth around their wounds, but the fragments of rusted wreckage along their path, picked over for any useful pieces, are at the gates. Sophia presses her knitting needles into his hands. "To keep you warm," she says. He nods his head and thanks her. His voice is small. "You will survive this," she tells him. She knows he has no choice. Sophia departs to find the people who need her. She feels Zavala's gaze cling to her until the gates of the Iron Lord disappear into the horizon. The gates of the encampment open for Zavala alone. Saladin says little, passes no judgment, tenders no admonition. All he says to him is this: love is a moment in time. We are not. Zavala wonders for an instant if Saladin speaks from experience. He does not ask, but simply takes a breath and follows Saladin. It is decades until a message arrives from Amani, half crumpled and discolored from the uncertain journey it took to reach him in the last city. "Come quickly," it reads, "before it is too late." But he arrives too late. Amani stands at the grave among the mourners, stooped, old. He nods to her, catches her eyes for a moment. A sad, familiar smile crosses her lips before she returns the gesture to silent thanks. He waits until most have left before he approaches the headstone. He holds a flower picked on his journey. It was fresh when he found it, but its petals are bruised now as he gently places it on the churned earth of her grave. Zavala rises and sees a woman standing beside him. They have the same eyes, warm and kind. Her daughter. "How did you know her?" she asks. His breath catches, unsure of how to answer a simple question from one mourner to another. "I'm an old friend," he says, unable to keep the weariness from seeping into his words. The woman looks at him, askance. He wonders, briefly, if she knows him, his history, her brother, but she simply nods and thanks him, and nothing more is said. Years later, he visits the woman's grave, then her son's sons. The graveyard grows thick with headstones. He makes the journey each time. They do not come to the last city for 10 generations. The hidden tell him when they are born, when they are sick, and when they die. He never speaks to them when they are alive, but at each grave he leaves a token and a question. "Can you forgive me?" The Red War does not claim them, but when the city grieves for those lost to the Vex in the endless night, Zavala grieves for the last of Sophia's descendants. This time there is no body for a grave. Now Zavala sits at his desk. The knitting needles are worn with use. He holds them carefully, remembering how she had placed his fingers so that he could follow her movements. He casts a length of yarn and begins again. Oof. Man.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Ooh. That one's heavy.
Yeah.
And really, when you think about this season, there's a lot of heavy aspects to it. A lot of mental health things that went on. You know, facing your demons almost, facing like sins of your past almost. There's a lot of that stuff. So, Chad, would you say that? Do you think any of Zavala's past will ever come back up again, or is like this was the season for it, and now we gave more backstory to Zavala, and I'm just moving forward as him as our leader?
I think this has given us a lot of backstory for him to and it's kind of built up over the last year, to really cement him as the leader he is. We have more of his backstory than we ever have. He's been much more humanized recently. I know a lot of people, cough cough, definitely not Ryan Fox, that have thought he's a punk because of the decisions he's made in the past. But based on this story, you can tell that he knows what immense loss feels like, and he knows that he's going to have to live with it almost literally forever. And he wants to stop that as much as possible, obviously, and he wants to make sure that he can protect his guardians from having to feel the same pain. And that's something that has come up this season. But We've seen the decisions he's made as a leader. We've seen that he almost went to town on Keitel because of what the Crow did in Season of the Risen. And Saladin stopped him. So we got a little bit more backstory on that situation there too. We've gotten a lot of backstory on Saladin with the stuff that's been going on this season. So they're giving us a lot of stories on the current leadership of the current humanity. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see if he has more backstory coming in, because I think the only other important events are like more of him and Saladin and more just personal moments between him, Ikora, and Cade. There's not a whole lot more besides that, because we in the beginning of Destiny 2 we saw him building the city. Like him going and creating the last city was like the opening of the game. But like the only other thing that would be really cool is the Battle of the Six Fronts. Like, because he was a part of that from what I remember. But we'll I mean, I hope there's more, but we have other people that we need to see their past, like Ikora.
Yeah.
We don't know much. So like that'd be cool to really, really dig into that. You know, Eris, a little bit of my drifter boy. But there's plenty of characters that we can go back into, and Zavala is pretty fleshed out at the moment.
The only other thing that's come to mind about Zavala is that he's awoken, so potentially we would find out about his life as being from that point. But
yeah.
All right, it's time for the mailbag. We have first question up here is, how many hours a week do you spend putting into Destiny? So I think this is like, for us, it varies week to week. Like last week when Grandmasters came out, we actually like put hours in early in the week. You know, what was it, like hour and a half, 2 hours for like the first 2 nights or something like that. For me,
like two.
Probably 4 to 5 hours total.
Yeah,
I think it was like 3 hours and 52 minutes or something. But that wasn't like us in orbit trying to get our gear set and everything.
So for me, I would say on average, later into the season, it's going to be about 5 hours a week at this point, and that can easily drop off depending on how Solstice goes.
Or if we're able to get enough for a raid.
Yeah. You too?
I have put a little bit. I mean, it definitely drops off very quickly in the seasons. Like this week, it's been literally 0. I totally forgot that I wanted to log in to do like a red border weapon for the opulent stuff. Like I can't miss that. That's a week wasted. And then the Arbalest ornament, I want that. It's a red dot. It's a red dot, baby. But like early on, it's a full-time job, hours. Middle of the season, it drops off significantly. But currently, maybe a good half shift, 5 hours in a week at the moment. We'll see what happens with Solstice. It's gonna bump up quite a bit really quickly that first week at least.
Question 2 is, which weapon should I be focusing if I'm just returning? I would say Ostringer, Arbalest, Storm Chaser, and Beloved. And if you get into the raid, which you should be able to get into, I would be looking for Cataclysmic and Submission.
Yeah, you hit it right. Pretty much nail on the head there. I guess the only other thing that's like unique to the season is the new purpose. That is the stasis pulse rifle that can get adaptive munitions in the kinetic slot. But that's kind of just like a carrot to go chase if you've done other stuff.
It could also get Desperado, right?
Yeah. Yep. All right, question 3. 1 to 10. How much are you looking forward to Solstice?
I'm going to give it a solid 6.5.
Oh, dude, I was literally about to say 6.5. I was going to say it while you were going, but I didn't want to take that from you.
That's why I did
I'll
it.
say 7.
I got a 6.1. Basically, if you're looking at the pizza rating, this is like, it's on the way home. It's there, and it's Monday, and you're not cooking dinner, so it's there, and you're picking it up. So, if the hand cannon has some spicy rolls on it, that changes it drastically up to a 7.1. But that hand cannon better be packing a punch. All right, question 4. Hey guys, haven't played in 6 months. What advice would you give someone getting back into it? So that means if they haven't played 6 months, that means they got Witch Queen and they played it, right? Or did they not play Witch Queen? If you didn't play Witch Queen, play through the campaign. That's number 1, right? And then after
Witch Queen Dungeon Raid.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the main 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely that.
Yeah. Duality's nice. I like that dungeon. It's a the amount of ads that's in the dungeon and the loot and the weapons are good. So I think just focus on those 2 things, which that kind of requires a little bit of power grind at that point if you haven't played in 6 months. So you got to do your chores a little bit for a couple weeks to enable to do those. All right, question 5. Did you get into Overwatch 2 beta or the Halo co-op beta? So
I'll answer first. I didn't get into either. I wish I would have got into the Overwatch. I might have popped in there this weekend, but likely probably not. If I did pop in, it'd probably be for 1 or 2 games. So I'm not too terribly upset about that. Halo, I'm saving until that releases, and then I'll buy it, which I've said since October, November of last year. I said that would kind of be the case because I wasn't getting bought into the multiplayer to buy that single player campaign and there not be co-op. That's just ridiculous. They've had co-op in that game since 2001. So the fact they don't have it in 2021 is just ignorant. So whenever that comes out, I'll buy it.
Yeah, didn't get it either. I did watch some of the other Overwatch 2 beta that when it came out, how it's 5v5 and only 1 tank, and I'm interested in it. And I know it's going to be free to play coming out October or something, right? I believe.
Right.
I'll probably dip my toes in there a little bit for that competitive 5v5 shooter. And, playing games is most of the time dependent on your friends. So if Chad and Fox are playing it, and somehow
I'll be in there.
If we can convince
get that mercy
2 other jabronis in there, I think it could be a lot of fun. At that point, who cares if we lose as long as we're having fun along the way? Because
and you could be one of those jabronis. Just hit us up.
Yep.
My answer is neither. Also, and all the other things these 2 have already said.
Yeah.
I wish I got into the Overwatch beta.
I applied to be in the beta, and I got turned down. So.
Yeah, I've been playing most recent NBA 2K and Final Fantasy VII Remake. Those have kind of been the games that I've been playing while Destiny's been light, but I needed to get that Iron Lord title done and stuff. So since Tuesday, I've been playing Destiny. So maybe this weekend, since I have that title, I might pop in. I'm about 3/4 of the way through a season with my boy Luca, trying to win a title, trading away. I got a lot of draft picks. My team's looking pretty solid as well. Yep. We'll see how that goes. But I've also got that FF7 remake, which is just an absolute incredible game. But I feel like I have to have like 3 hours blocked out to play that, which is kind of, goes against what my life is or has been for the last couple weeks. So I think that's it for the mailbag. I'm going to let these other 2 guys sign off, and then I'll wrap us up.
Yeah, last week when Trials was going on, I was playing some 6s, and I got a 7th column. And nothing like...
What?
Yeah, nothing like makes you happier in the game than getting a 7th column. And, that kind of just like revitalized me a little bit going into this Iron Banner week to actually get wanted to play a little bit. So, I think that was my. If you look me up, I think that's officially my second one, and like I think the first one came in like a mayhem playlist. So this is like legit 6v6, but all the sweat lords were playing trials. So you take it as it is.
Still counts to me, dog.
Yeah, definitely. Excited to see everybody glowing. Excited to see all those Titan ducks. Getting ready to see y'all out there in the EAZ.
Go Cats. Love you guys.